Thank you for joining the Mallory Park Elementary School design team as we showcase our 2021 Solar Decathlon Design Challenge project. Our team is part of Ball State University's College of Architecture and Planning, located in Muncie, Indiana, with a satellite campus in Indianapolis, Indiana. We are thankful to have many community partners that have taken this journey with us. Mallory Park Elementary School is located at 3029 East Washington Street in Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Centrally located, Indianapolis is the state capital and is centered in Marion County. Within Indianapolis, our site is located in the Near East Side area, which is a grouping of close-knit neighborhoods just east of downtown. Taking a closer look, the elementary school site we chose is within the Englewood Village neighborhood on the former PR Mallory campus.
So here is our overall site context. Our site neighbors are PR Mallory Middle and High School, Uplift Produce, Oxford and Parker Senior Apartments, and then also located a block north on Rural Street is Daystar Childcare. With all of these neighbors, we are able to support Englewood families and children from pre-K to high school and even college-age kids with the Purdue Polytechnic incentive that those who attend PR Mallory are eligible to go to Purdue Polytechnic College.
PR Mallory was a manufacturer of several products, including a precursor to Duracell batteries. Because of the chemicals used at PR Mallory, the site has been designated as a brownfield. This provides a unique opportunity to incorporate phytoremediation methods to transform the location into a community asset. In a report generated by Englewood Village, 2 needs were identified for the neighborhood: quality neighborhood schools and a centralized community gathering space. In the same report, a lot on the north edge of PR Mallory campus was proposed as a community park. This provides another great opportunity to key into the community needs to provide a centralized elementary school at a location already poised for improvement.
By looking at existing precedents, we were able to determine the features that we wanted to highlight. We looked at multiple precedents, but those referenced are from Walnut Grove Elementary School in Burgersville, Indiana, Brookside Elementary School in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the Purdue Polytechnic High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. From Walnut Grove, we were inspired by the Open Media Center, including the structural tree element, large classroom glass walls to open onto flexible learning spaces, and a fun element such as a slide for incorporating whimsy and joy into the school. From Brookside, we were inspired by the farm space and the emphasis on sustainable practices, as well as incorporating teaching elements into the learning environments, such as green electrical outlets and windows into the wall structure. From Purdue Polytechnic, we were inspired by the use of open steel structure as a learning technique.
Bringing all of the community research together, the Mallory Park design team formulated 3 comprehensive goals: to create a community campus, to incorporate universal learning opportunities, and to showcase sustainable practices.
Within the guidelines established by the competition, we developed a school design based on flexible learning spaces, open media center layouts, and resiliency measures. With a proposed occupancy of 300 students and 30 staff, the building is capable of expanding the occupancy should the need arise. Utilizing 2 floors, we separated kindergarten and first grade from the higher grades, allowing for increased learning environments dedicated to their age groups. Each classroom has access to outdoor learning spaces with space for gardening, learning, and experiencing sustainable practices such as solar panels and water collection. Our 2 open media centers allow for open communication and open learning, where children can feel comfortable learning in any atmosphere.
So this is the north elevation of the elementary school. Here you can kind of begin to see some of the material selections we chose, alongside how the building reacts to some of the site context regarding scale, with the smokestack on the left there. Here on the southern side elevation, you can begin to see some of the green elements incorporated, such as the PV panels on the roof, and then again, material selection.
On this longitudinal section, you can see that the east side of the building is more of the educational side of the school, while the west side is more recreationally focused with the gymnasium and cafeteria. Along the east side, you can see the centralized light well that illuminates our media centers on both the first and second floors. As mentioned before, these central media centers will be an organically used space by both students and faculty with a larger communicating stair connecting them. In this section, you can also see our typical structural system of recycled steel joists on metal stud bearing walls. This section shows the connection of the west side of the building between the gymnasium and the cafeteria. The cafeteria doors have the ability to open up to create a larger event space between the cafeteria and gymnasium. Above the cafeteria, you'll see the communal exterior space meant solely for the upper level classrooms to take advantage of, in addition to their personal classroom exterior space. To the south of the cafeteria is a fire stair that connects down to our basement mechanical room.
Mallory Park's building system focuses on reducing equipment electricity use by utilizing a combination of active and passive strategies that promote sustainability and become teaching opportunities to a new generation of students. The building mechanical system uses a series of water source heat pumps that are locally zoned with VAV terminals throughout the building to provide the end user maximum flexibility and energy savings over traditional heating and cooling methods. With the gym and cafeteria being tall spaces, we're employing destratification fans to cycle the hot air rising and redistribute it to the ground level, which reduces heat loss through the roof system. The building also uses a horizontal ground loop and cycles it to a ground source heat pump. Our system is modeled off of the Manifest pump station from Mealink Corporation, which features a ground loop bypass as conditions permit. In this mode, an automatic actuating valve is engaged, effectively cutting the ground loop off from the building loop. This reduces the pressure needed from the pumps, but allows for them to operate at the same flow rate. This results in energy and cost savings, especially during unoccupied hours when the ground loop can be bypassed for up to 98% of the time. For lighting, solar tubes are installed on the second floor and above the gym, cafeteria, and locker room areas. The solar tubes are able to capture the natural sunlight and reflect it into the spaces during the day, eliminating the need for artificial lights. Since the building is primarily occupied during daylight hours, these fixtures can supplement all of the lighting needed by the users in those spaces, rather than relying on the electrical lighting. In the spaces without the solar tubes and during non-daylight hours, high-efficiency light fixtures are used in combination with occupancy and daylight sensors to optimize the lighting with minimal energy use. These strategies combine for a total maximum lighting power density of 0.48. The building water system utilizes a heat pump water heater in the utility room that's able to pull the warm air produced by the electrical gear and ground source heat pump system. This reduces the amount of delta T to make up, minimizing the energy needed by the water heater. In addition, the building has great water collection systems for the building wastewater and stormwater. The wastewater from the sinks and showers is piped separately and then filtered through a membrane bioreactor system. Maintenance for the membrane system is every few years versus having to refill a traditional chlorinated system every month, and doesn't use any chemicals that can permeate smells through the building and degrade the life of the plumbing pipes. This filtered water will then be used for the toilet supply. As shown previously, Mallory Park's design features a butterfly roof above the gym and cafeteria. We're able to take advantage of this roof to provide clear downspouts along the cafeteria wall so that the kids can see active rainwater collection during rainy days. This, along with the rest of the roof's rainwater, will all be collected and filtered to provide irrigation to the farm and surrounding green spaces. This alleviates demand from the local utility. Our roof area has been calculated to show it can capture up to 1,067,000 gallons per year of rainwater.
The proposed Mallory Park design brings value beyond education to students. This design intends to simultaneously combine campus and community in a synergistic manner. The needs of the local Englewood neighborhood and the needs of students are being recognized by the design choices. For instance, Purdue Polytechnic High School, which is located immediately to the northeast of the building site, lacks a gymnasium. This addition will put physical activity and team-oriented sports on display for students in K-12 classes. The gymnasium can be used for local events focused on local issues and interests. The elementary school connects K-12 students with the senior apartments to the immediate west. This type of connection creates opportunity for intergenerational education. Instead of isolating the elderly or youth, the connectivity of these two demographics will have long-lasting effects for the future. This social model has been proven to be effective in European countries. Furthermore, the concept of intergenerational connectivity is a strong marketing point in identifying this project as more than an elementary school. In fact, this building will serve as a hub for opportunity and education in the Englewood neighborhood and East Indianapolis area.
As mentioned before, Mallory Park Elementary will serve as a community resilience hub for the Englewood neighborhood during acute and disruptive weather events. The project site is located outside the typical disaster zone locations, but may still be affected by random strong weather events such as storms and tornadoes. This can leave the Englewood community without power, which can lead towards a plethora of additional issues if power is not restored in a timely fashion. This is where Mallory Park Elementary can step in and house those community members that are affected by these events. The school can not only house, but is programmed with a full-service kitchen and nearby locker rooms that contain showers. By providing these atypical elementary school amenities, we are letting the community know that our new school is at their use when they need it. On-site and roof-mounted photovoltaic panels in combination with a 232 kilowatt-hour individual capacity Tesla Power Pack battery system will allow the Resiliency Hub to maintain electric power throughout the weather event. The PV system on the roof is calculated to produce a minimum of 285 kilowatt hours a day in winter months, which will allow the battery backup to stay supplied. A backup electrical panel will be constructed in the building to allow for the switch from supplying the whole building to just critical areas. On this backup panel will be the mechanical units, ground loop pumps, water heating, and gray water reuse systems. Lighting loads will be controlled to ease the backup panel's distribution. Using sunlight during the day supplemented with having the typical lighting load during dark and night times will accomplish this. In addition to the backup electrical systems, the building's overall envelope will lend itself to retaining energy in times of crisis.
As part of our Resiliency Hub, we wanted to incorporate a large community kitchen that is able to be used not only for school lunches, but in sporting events and community functions. Oftentimes, schools are outfitted with warming ovens and need only a fraction of the space we allotted, but our emphasis on those three elements enable the building to use the square footage as an asset to the community. With 2 lines available, children can be served quickly and functionally, allowing ample time for consumption.
This is our embodied environmental impact. For our material selection of our school, it was based off of context and material carbon footprint. And as you can see here, we've used recycled steel structure, fiber cement panels that have recycled materials within them, and then also recycled brick to pay homage to our site context neighbors. Having an on-site farm promotes children to be able to learn how to care for the resources they are given, but also only take what they need. Agriculture is also a big part of Indiana and the culture and context within it. On-site landscaping consists of native plants such as milkweed, Indian grass, switchgrass, and more. Keeping the soil covered with vegetation is important, as you can see in the top diagram on this slide, because it lessens the amount of carbon that goes into the atmosphere, which is what we're aiming for as a community. Plants are a great way to combat this as they naturally absorb the carbon and nutrients that are naturally occurring within the soil. Here is our tally chart showing global warming potential before and after using recycled materials. And then also our interior flooring finishes are here, and they're composed of recycled material to cut down on the embodied impact as well. And again, specs are listed so you can see. So this is our building's integrated performance. We have multiple iterations of the elementary school showing daylighting. Adjustments were made as needed to bring more optimal sunlight into the space, such as adjusting glazing heights, extending south-facing overhangs, and more. This render shows an outdoor classroom and hangout space that can be used not only by the children that are going to school here, but also the senior citizens that live in the apartments across the way. With this engagement between ages, it allows for a better community connection.
Our first thought when we sat down to design this building was about the children the building would serve. The learning environment has been a contested subject for decades, and we wanted to provide spaces for children of all ages, all abilities, and all genders to enjoy a hands-on learning environment with access to the outdoors and large windows to maximize learning. Our media centers are open so children can feel free to read and peruse without judgment and fear. A tunnel was created to the space under the stairs as a small gathering space, maximizing on the underutilized space while creating an aura of mystery. The large gathering space in the center of the building under the large open staircase enables students to hang out and collaborate within different age groups while also allowing classes to use the space as a teaching tool. Our efforts to provide an inclusive environment for all of our students translated into inclusive restrooms, which take up less space than traditional restrooms, while enabling everyone to have judgment-free, harassment-free experiences. With our large expanses of windows and heavy use of southern light exposure, we were interested in how to keep as much light as possible while expelling unwanted light and heat. With the use of large overhangs and sunshades, we keep the experience of daylight while removing heat and glare. Using a light shelf, we are able to bounce light up off the ground and onto the ceiling for better disbursement of light. Due to the proximity to the railroad tracks, traffic on Washington Street, and general noise level in classrooms, we instigated both acoustical ceiling panels and an acoustical dampening floors so that each classroom can have the best acoustical learning environment possible. Using a mixture of cross ventilation and stack ventilation, we hope to limit our use of mechanical ventilation during times of quality air movement and temperature.
We utilize various energy modeling programs to aid in our design development. Early on in the process, we noticed how heating load dominant our building was and how we weren't reaching our target EUI of 17.35. As you can see, before additional energy optimization, we had an EUI of just above 21. From here, we worked to tighten this heating load by introducing a horizontal ground loop system. This resulted in both energy and cost savings, especially during unoccupied hours when the ground loop can be bypassed for up to 90% of the time when the school is not in use. We also realized introducing a more robust PV system will allow us to offset the necessary energy consumption of the building. By maximizing our allowable roof area of 15,700 square feet, we were able to increase our renewable energy production. We decided on using the Panasonic 370 watt system as it has a higher module efficiency and has improved performance during inclement weather to aid our resilience hub. The system will annually produce 202 megawatt hours. By making these two major changes in combination with a tight building envelope and optimizing our facade glazing, we were able to bring down our total EUI of the entire building to just 3.04.
In conclusion, the Mallory Park Elementary School design team responded to the community needs and completed the vision of the project goals. Thank you for taking the time to review the Mallory Park Elementary School project from Ball State University's College of Architecture and Planning.